Auzu billahi mineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students of class 9th, I am going to deliver a lesson of English subject for the students of class 9th. Today on 11th of August 2020, and our today's topic is Saint of Gutters, which is written by Professor Neeraj Mattu, who did her MA in English from Kashmir University in 1958. And your students, in the previous lesson, you also knew that she became, Professor Neeraj Mattu, who is the writer of our today's lesson, became a professor and principal in 1981 in Government College for Women, MA Road, from where she had graduated in 1956. Her publications include Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh, a trefoil land. Dear students, in the previous discussion, I gave you the meaning of first two paragraphs. Now, in today's lecture, I will try to understand you the meaning of the remaining part of the lesson, that is Saint of Gutters. For this, you all students are requested to open your textbooks at page number 20 and go through paragraph 3rd of this lesson and second paragraph of the page 20. She was on a trip to mountains when suddenly she heard a call, follow God and serve others. Yes, dear students, the call which was heard by Mother Teresa, the call was follow God and serve others. Mother Teresa understood that God has some special task cut out of her. The call was, in fact, the compass which indicated her direction in life. So, Mother Teresa decided to devote all her time of life in the service of God and humanity. Here, dear students, I used the word service, and grammatically the word serves, it is noun, and its verb is serve, and its adjective is serviceable. Yes, serve verb, service noun, and serviceable adjective. Dear students, for your kind information, I will try to remind you that a word which denotes some action is called a verb, and a word which is a naming word, that is known as noun, and we also know that a word which qualifies a noun or a pronoun, that word is known as adjective. So, dear students, after hearing the call, follow God and serve others, Mother Teresa decided to devote all her life in the service of God and humanity. She decided to be missionary to India. Mother Teresa also made up her mind. She got ready to go to Kolkata in India to serve the protest of the poor. She went to Ireland and joined the convent of the Sisters of Loreto in order to learn English before she went to Bengal. Dear students, Mother Teresa arrived in Kolkata in 1929. The journey continued to Darjeeling, where she accomplished her training as a nun. She also learned Hindi and Bengali so that she could speak to the people whom she had come to serve. Dear students, yes, Mother Teresa learned Hindi and Bengali because she realized that only then she could speak to the people of India. She could contact to the people of India she could meet to the people of India, whom she had come to serve. Then she began to teach in schools run by the Sisters of Lorito, first at Darjeeling and then at Kolkata. Mother Teresa took her vows as a nun in 1937 and assumed the name Teresa because that was the name of patron saint of missionaries. While teaching the Indian girl students from rich backgrounds at St. Mary's School, Kolkata, the poor and the homeless living in dirty and sickening habitations caught her attention. They lived in miserably unhygienic conditions. They fell prey to all kinds of diseases. The hospitals and other civic facilities were limited in this capital city. So, it affected on Mother Teresa. She became pity for those people, and now so she would carry the worst causes of the street herself, clean them up, and look after them. Their students has a phrase look after. Look after का माने है देखभाल करना. And I will give the meaning of this word, this phrase look after with the help of this sentence. The nurse, we should look after. Now, for example, yes, the phrase is look after, देखभाल करना. We must look after our parents. We should look after our elders. She could not see anyone dying an undignified death. Again, the word death, it is noun, मौत जिसे हम कहते हैं, and its verb is die, मरना, and its adjective is dead, मुर्दा, dead body. For example, we can say dead body. Here we say the word dead, it modifies body, which is noun, so dead is adjective and deadly is adverb. Die, death, dead, deadly. The journey from Kolkata to Darjeeling in 1946 proved a turning point in her life. I mean in Agnes' life, who later became Mother Teresa. She heard a voice that said, the voice said, which was heard by Mother Teresa, that she must leave the convent and help the poor by living with them. She felt that it was an order which she could not disobey. She sought the permission of the church to leave the convent and start a new order of nuns, who would help her in her work among the poor. Mother Teresa got the permission, and the Order of the Missionaries of Charity was born in 1948 with her as its first Mother Superior. Dear students, she bid adieu to religious Lorito robe and changed it into a cheap white and blue sari to identify herself with the poorest of the poor. Mother Teresa played this role, not to discriminate herself with other people. She opened Nirmal Heriday. Nirmal Heriday means pure heart, a home for the dying and hospital home for every poor people in need of food and shelter. Dear students, as you know, Agnes, who later became the famous Mother Teresa, won the highest award of the world, named as Nobel Prize in 1979. Yes, dear students, Mother Teresa was among those persons who won this highest reward of the world, namely Nobel Prize in 1979. Dear students, now I will try to understand you the meaning of the last paragraph of your lesson, Saint of Gutters, which is written by Neeraj Mattu. Malcolm Mortgage, a famous British writer, came to Kolkata in 1970. Yes, dear students, who was Malcolm Mortgage? Malcolm Morgan was a famous British writer. While walking through a street, he happened to see a small little figure in a salon cleaning the sores on the body of half dead man. When Malcolm Morgan, famous British writer, saw this, there wasn't any trace of disgust at stench. He couldn't believe that a human being could look so happy while doing such a distasteful and disgusting task. When Malcolm Morgan saw this, there was a deep, warm glow of peace and love on her face. So when Malcolm Morgan, famous British writer, saw this, he was so much impressed by this saintly person and her extraordinary work that he wished the whole world to know about her. He was highly impressed by the work of Mother Teresa. He wrote her autobiography. Malcolm Morgan, famous British writer, wrote in her autobiography entitled Something Beautiful for God. Yes, Something Beautiful for God. And the film brought world's attention to her otherwise silent work. She died in 1997. Mother Teresa, who did remarkable work in the world, who devoted all her life in the service of God and humanity, particularly for the category of orphan and these poor people, died in 1997. But before her death, she supervised the opening of branches of her missionaries of charity in a number of countries to continue her work among the poorest of the poor. Dear students, the word poorest, it is adjective and it is superlative degree of adjective. Its positive degree is poor, its comparative degree is poorer, and its superlative degree is poorest. Dear students, you must know that poor, poorer, and poorest. Poor which is positive degree, poorer which is comparative degree, and poorest which is superlative degree. These words are adjectives. For your kind of information, the simplest form of adjective is known as positive degree, for example, poor. And the higher form of adjective is known as comparative degree, for example, poorer. And the highest form of adjective is known as superlative degree, for example, poorest. So the word poor, it is positive degree, poorer, it is comparative degree, and poorest, it is superlative degree. All the three words are adjectives. Dear students, lastly, I want to understand you that she was truly a saint of her times. Yes, dear students, Mother Teresa, who was in the beginning, whose name was when she was born Agnes, later who became the famous Mother Teresa, was truly a saint of her times, who brought comfort to the poor, who made the lives of poor comfortable, and gave care to those who had no one to care for them. Lastly, dear students, I want to tell you that Mother Teresa, who was the great personality of this world, did a remarkable task, did a remarkable work for the betterment of the poor and the orphan, and he served all his life and he devoted all his life to the service of poor and humanity. Dear students, this was our today's lesson about Saint of Gutters, who is written by Neeraj Muttu. Inshallah, in the next discussion, we will try to discuss our next topic. For then, till bye, goodbye to all of you. Okay, wassalam.